guys, this is Lord Chael speaking on behalf of our show sponsor, Established Titles. Established Titles is a project based on a historic Scottish custom where landowners are referred to as lords and ladies. They allow you to buy as little as 1 square foot of dedicated land so you can officially call yourself a lord or lady. Established Titles is not just about your ego. You also get to do some good. In addition to your new fancy title, Established Titles supports global charities like One Tree Planted and Trees for the Future to help with their afforestation efforts. Your title pack gives you at least 1 square foot of dedicated land on a private estate in Scotland, and your official certificate proves your title, as well as your unique plot number where you can see the exact location of your land. If you're looking for a fun, last-minute gift this holiday season, this is a great way to surprise a loved one. Who doesn't want to become an official lord? Getting the certificate even allows you to officially change your name to Lord or Lady. Put it on your credit cards, plane tickets, or if you're so inclined, put it on your dating profiles. Established Titles is having a great limited time sale. Go to establishedtitles.com/Chael and save 10% off today. Remember to use the promo code Chael or just click on the link below. Well, I take it all back. I take everything back that I told you guys that Rob Font was going to have a fear due to respect for Jose Aldo. Rob Font did not give a damn about Jose Aldo, the world championships, the 12 years undefeated, the two-time featherweight champion. Did you hear the way Bruce Buffer introduced Jose Aldo? I mean, it's just this beautiful induction. Rob Font came right across that ring and started a fight. And one thing that has always impressed me with Rob is his speed. He's got that length, but he's got that speed. And when you use and combine those two, and when you understand distance, you are going to be a big problem. Now, tonight was a real treat. It was a treat because we got to see and we got reminded of how great the ground skills of Jose Aldo are in both positions. Rob got a takedown on Jose. That is extremely rare to see. I always think back to Jose Aldo versus Chad Mendes, which we saw on 2 separate occasions. But based on those fights, strongly, Jose's entire career as a body of work, but specifically those matches with Money Mendes, that's where I came to the conclusion and started saying publicly about Jose that everything George St. Pierre is for a non-wrestler in MMA to be effective offensively, Jose Aldo is just as good as George, but in reverse. It's defensive. Point being, he's very hard to take down. And Chad Mendes really put that on display. Because I know how good Chad is. That's where I had first-hand knowledge. Can't get Jose Aldo down. So Font gets in. But Font got in because he did mixed martial arts. Font was throwing punches. He changed his elevation. He gets on Jose, drags him down. Jose looks great. He scrambles. He gets back to his feet. Now, there's tells that fighters have. And you've heard about this in poker. You hear about this with liars. You hear about tells. A tell, a tone, a body language, a movement where you know you got something here. Fighters have tells as well. But those tells aren't just signs of what they're going to do next. Fighters will have tells and body movements for when they personally have become comfortable. Nobody's tell was more obvious than Anderson Silva's. Do you guys remember that? I mean, Joe Rogan would be calling the fight, and Joe, Anderson's moving around, and then you could see when Anderson he had the same body language where he would do the same movement, and Joe Rogan would say, oh my, he's just, come on. Keep your eyes closed. Don't blink. This fight's going to be over. The spider's about to go on the attack. You guys remember that? Jose's tell is when he leaves the ground. Jose Aldo must leave the ground. He must hit a flying knee where he jumps into the air. That registers something within his own brain. And Jose Aldo, as by the book as he is, as straightforward, he's going to punch, he's going to dip, he's going to throw a leg kick, he's going to do a bunch of it, he's going to keep his chin down and his hands up. As by the book as he is, what makes him so dangerous is that creativity. When he starts getting creative, when he starts being playful, when Mr. Serious isn't the only thing that's in the octagon, but now Mr. Playful is also there, that's when, as an opponent, you have problems. And you even saw it in this fight if you looked for it. If you looked close enough, you saw it. When Jose Aldo left the ground, when he hit the flying knee, that is when he got loose. That's when he started to relax. And quite frankly, that's when those takedowns happened. That's when I got a birthday girl here, guys. I got a birthday girl. Come over here, Priya. We're working now. That's when he got playful. And that's when those takedowns and that defense started to really come into play. And that's where he saw the groundwork, and that's where the treat was. Watching Jose pass, watching him go from side control. One time he jumped into mount. Did you guys see that? Where he brought the hooks inside to push Rob's legs down to build himself a hole, and then he just jumped. And all of a sudden, Jose's sitting on his chest. I disagree slightly with the announcers. They were suggesting for you that Jose had done the math in his head and knew, I don't have to beat Rob Font, I just have to beat the clock. This was in the 5th round. I believe I heard the term he's coasting in the 5th round. That's not what I saw. I saw Jose possibly understanding, possibly with less urgency, possibly knowing that he's ahead on this, and that even if he throws a round away, as long as he does not tap out or go out, he's going to get his hand raised. That doesn't mean he coasted to a victory. Sometimes your offense, sometimes your defense. George St. Pierre would talk about this, even when we trained together. You've either got to be active or you've got to be reactive. Those are your only two options. So when you have an entire night of chaos, and it's chaos that's winning you those rounds, but eventually you do, and you've won enough that you don't have to win the last, I don't fully agree that that's coasting. You're going into a different zone. It's one word that I could never use in MMA because I could never find it. I spent my whole career searching for a place to coast. And in the sport of wrestling, I found them. And if the referee caught me doing it, boom, he calls it stalling. Referee catches me doing it, stalling, and a point goes up. You can get disqualified for eating up clock, for not being active. In MMA, I could never find those spots because it was never about scoring points. It was about damaging the opponent, which is the only reason I say I really don't want that cloud over Jose. I really don't want anybody saying that he coasted in the 5th round. I think he picked his spots. I think he was in a position where he gets to be less chaotic and gets to be more calculated and methodical. I just don't know that he should be insulted for that. And I will tell you why we're splitting hairs here and why we get this story extremely accurate. Because the number one contendership is potentially on the line. There has never been opportunity like there is right now at 135 because you got two champions. And I know the sport leads us to believe that those two champions, the interim and the undisputed, must fight each other. I understand that. But we are going to fiercely adhere to the rules that we make up on the spot, right? That's what MMA is. We're still learning. And if Aljo gets held up and Jan goes and takes the fight, then Aljo gets, there is a scenario, as unlikely it is, there is a scenario where the interim championship gets defended for the first time ever, which would make me happy because I support the interim championship. I think it's a real championship, just like the BMF, and I think it does deserve a lineage. And then there's a scenario where the undisputed title gets defended, and then you bring those boys together. My only point being, there is opportunity. It could be opportunity times 2, but you will be splitting hairs in that division. You think that TJ Dillashaw all of a sudden doesn't matter? Henry Cejudo says he's going to come back, but has yet to tell us what division. And I think we all want this for Jose Aldo. It will be one last hurrah. We got it. But nobody gets to go out like that. Nobody gets to know what the last night is. Nobody gets to work this hard and return to a championship opportunity. We want this for Jose. It looks like Jose's earned it. The problem is there's arguments, and there's other guys too. And if the narrative that Jose posted in the 5th round comes back to bite him in the ass, I'm not going to be part of it. It's not what I want. I'm admitting my bias. But it's also not what I saw. There was less chaos. There didn't have to be. It was calculated. At no point did I see his heart not beating, sweat not dripping down. At no point did I see Rob Font not coming after him. Stalling in many sports is real. In basketball, hell, you can just call timeout. In MMA, there's nowhere to stall. There's nowhere to hide. I don't want this to be the narrative. It's not what I saw. Jose Aldo is that damn good. And quite frankly, guys, Rob Font came as delivered. Rob Font was proper tonight. He did not leave his skills in the back. He did not back down. The lights were not too bright. He ran into somebody who's better at the sport than he is. Simple as that. Awesome fight. I loved it, but let's make sure we tell the story the way that it happened.